Hello again, mentors. Good to have you with me once again. This is Jack the lad from the Love Local Job Foundation. Next little video for you in this series, giving you an insight into some of the stuff that I've been chatting with the students about, or that I will be chatting with the students about. We've spoken about resilience. We've spoken about raising your aspirations in this little series of videos. The next big thing is the comfort zone. And having the ability, having the belief, having the confidence, because it is scary, to leave your comfort zone. Because as the slide says behind me, you know, the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there, which is true, isn't it? Really, you just get stale and you get stagnant. And it's an interesting bit when I talk to students about the comfort zone, because a lot of them, when I first bring it up, they don't really sort of understand what I'm talking about. They're like, what's he on about? It's a comfort zone, you know what I mean? So we have a chat about it at first, and the first thing I ask them to engage with me in is, do they understand what the comfort zone is? And a lot of the time they've got a good idea, and I showed them these three definitions: the Oxford English Dictionary, a place or situation where one feels safe or at ease and without stress. Then you have the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a place or situation where someone feels confident and comfortable. But the one that I like the most, that I think nails it on the head, is the Cambridge Dictionary, when someone's ability or determination are not being tested. Talk to the students about the fact that we all have comfort zones in both our personal lives and at work. We always have a bit of fun when I tell them about my comfort zone at home, which is me and my slobby clothes. You know, your comfies that your nan buys you at Christmas. It's like joggers and stuff. And I'm on the sofa and I've got tortilla chips and salsa dip and Merlot and crime documentaries. I ain't going anywhere. But from a personal point of view, I say to them, I have to. I'm comfortable here. I love being here, but I'm not going to get anything done. I've got to do the washing, walk the dog, pick the kids up from school. So I can't stay in my comfort zone all day. And I talk to them about the same with regards to being at work, and the fact that when they do come to enter their working lives, like many of you would have done, probably all of you, I know I have, there comes a time when you have to think, you know, no, it's time for me to leave this place where I'm so comfortable, otherwise I'm not going to test myself. You know, as the slide before this one said, otherwise I'm not going to grow, because in order to grow, everything needs to be moved, both physically and mentally, or it cannot grow. And that is leaving your comfort zone, as you know. Now, to put this into sort of more easily digestible format for the students to understand, use this slide of essentially a train journey. So I designed this slide. I'm really quite proud of it, I must say. And the idea of it is that there's two ends of your comfort zone. There's the beginning where you are, and at the other end, there's where you want to get to, which is obviously achievement. Now, in order to get to achievement, as you well know, and this is what I say to these youngsters, you've got to leave the beginning. You've got to start coming out and testing yourself in waters, if you will, that are unfamiliar. And it's very similar to being on a train. You start at sort of, it's like going from Brighton to Gatwick. You start in Brighton, and then you're going through Preston Park and Hassocks and Wivelsfield and Burgess Hill and Hayward Heath. And how good is my knowledge of that train route, by the way? And all of these stops are places where the train will stop, and you can get off and stay there if you want. But how long are you going to stay there before you get back on and carry the journey? And that is the same, the way I see it, as the comfort zone, because you start at the beginning, and then when you leave your comfort zone, you're going to go through stops like fear and panic and unfamiliarity. And there are going to be times when you think you've got to stop there for a little while and you don't like it, so you go back. And I say to the students, it's fine to leave your comfort zone, not like it, and go back once in a while. But the longer you stay in your comfort zone, the more stale you are going to be. And the more times you leave it, and the more times you test yourself, eventually you'll start going through fear quicker, and you won't spend as long at panic and unfamiliar. And then you might want to spend a bit of time at the stop that is learning, thinking, yeah, okay, I need to stay here because I've got to learn a bit more before I leave my comfort zone again. And then you're taking a risk in doing that, and you're going to encounter stress, and you're going to encounter failure. And one of the things that I tell these students about is not to be afraid of failure. Failure is nothing but a brilliant tool to learn from. And I tell these young people, you know, you can't get it right all of the time. No one does. Use Lionel Messi as an example. He doesn't score every free kick and penalty that he takes. You know, Adele doesn't write a #1 with every song that she makes. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. Lewis Hamilton doesn't win every Formula 1 race, you know. But failure, when they get it wrong, it's like, right, how did I get that wrong? Why did I get it wrong? What can I do different? I'll get it right next time. And then they jump back on the train and they go through stops when they're feeling challenged and when they're feeling negative and when they're facing criticism. And again, they might not be able to take the criticism, so they go back a few stops. They sort of regather themselves, they compose themselves, and then they're ready to leave the comfort zone again. But what I try to get them to understand is something that an amazing athlete, Ray Lewis, who's a Super Bowl winner many times, used to be in a gang, and he decided that he was going to move on and try and make something in his life. He left that comfort zone, and he says, before anything great can be achieved, your comfort zone must be disturbed. He also goes on to say, show me your crowd and I will show you your future. And I tell the students to think back to the first session when I talked about their crowd, the people that are holding them back, and how that could well be their future if they spend too long with them. But this is a great quote. If you want to get out and achieve, you've got to mix things up every now and then. You've got to disturb that comfort zone, and you've got to have the courage to leave it. And again, employ that resilience that we talked about. When things aren't going your way, keep moving forward. If you need to come back, come back. But don't spend too long in that comfort zone, because you will grow stale and you will get stagnant and you'll just start to get covered in moss and you will not move. So that was a comfort zone chat that we had, and I can't think about it and that, and I'll be honest with you, I'm out of my comfort zone now, because I'm for my job as a radio presenter and that, and as a host, an event host, I'm pretty much a show off. I'm a professional show off. I don't feel comfortable doing this, and I give them lots of examples of things that I'm not comfortable with. I'm not comfortable in an office environment. I'm not comfortable in front of a computer. I don't like computers. They frighten me. And I'd love for you, when you have your next virtual conference with them, your next virtual mentoring session, to talk about your comfort zone. You know what I mean? I think a nice way to start when you have that chat is to tell them, like I did, places where you are comfortable, both at work and at home. You know, you're comfortable at home doing this, that, the other, and at work you're comfortable. I'm comfortable when I'm in the schools, for instance, as opposed to in the office or sat in front of a camera. So when are you in your comfort zone, and when do you leave it? Have you had to really test yourself and get out of your comfort zone a lot in order to get to where you are now? Do you work with people, because we all do, who will not leave that comfort zone? Which is, no, I'm quite happy here. You know what I mean? I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to go anywhere that's going to make me feel uncomfortable or unsure of myself. This is my comfort zone and I'm staying here. Do you know or work with someone like that? And how often do you need to leave your comfort zone for your job, for the role that you do? And again, they're just conversation starters, these questions. They'll be in your booklet, as I keep saying, only because I don't want you to get fined and think I've got to write all this down. And turn it round to the young people. Not just ask them about have they left their comfort zone or are they fighting to leave it, but encourage them to as well, because you're their mentor. And I'm sure that once you've spoken to them about the times you've had to leave your comfort zone and push yourself, and then it really wasn't that bad, that might encourage them to do the same, to take a little leap into the unknown that as of now, they might be a little bit wary of. So that's kind of the comfort zone chat. As I say, all the notes are in your booklet. The comfort zone, it's a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. You know that, and I know that. And it's about giving these youngsters, these students, the belief and the encouragement to step out of it sometimes and really push themselves. So that was comfort zone. There's one more little video in this section, and there we're going to talk about the first time they leave their comfort zone, which is something that none of us like doing, and that is when we go for job interviews. So the next video in this little section of vids will be about job interviews, and I will see you very soon for that. Cheers.